This is Bludspeth. They are a Lolcow channel. They have made multiple videos on Phibz. They got very famous for their Nova Online videos. I think they made 36 Nova Online videos or something like that. And yeah, the entire channel is just predicated on making videos on Lolcows. I have mentioned many a time that I am not a fan of this type of content. I think that there is a lot of ableism rooted within it. I think they have a tendency to massively over-sensationalize claims about these people. And in Phibz in particular, I think they've massively over-sensationalized the pedophile claim in particular. And my argument is that by over-sensationalizing the pedophile claim and labeling them something that there is just not enough evidence for, that actually... it takes away from the genuine horrible things that are being done by Phibz, such as acting like a peer in this Discord full of 14-year-olds, for example, and romanticizing self-harm, which are genuine problems that I feel should be talked about and spoken about in regards to Phibz. However, when you throw the pedophile label on her that stringently and without evidence, that's what the entire conversation becomes, because it is by far the most abhorrent and strongest claim, if that makes sense. So it makes the actual topics that should be spoken about that much harder to actually speak about. I feel a bit bad for Phibz, but at the same time, she should be criticized for her actions. It's not a difficult dichotomy to understand. Like, I'm sure we can all agree that Christian sexually assaulting their mother was a fucking horrible thing to do. That being said, I feel horrible for Christian. Christian is someone who was failed by everyone in their life from the day they were born, essentially. They were bullied relentlessly online. They had all these mental disorders that weren't being looked after properly. So as much as I feel bad for them, I can still acknowledge that sexually assaulting your own mother is really, really, really bad. I don't know, I feel like it's not that difficult to actually understand. This is the thing, like, if Christian was... I'm not saying you have to be best friends with her, but to bully them the way that they were bullied is fucking crazy. Because that's what leads to a lot of this shit. When we finally learn to understand... Look, there's a reason why 30% of people in youth offending prisons have ADHD. I'm not sure what is the population of people who actually have ADHD, because I know it's massively disproportionate sort of representation in the prison or judicial system. 3.4% of adults and 5% of children. Yeah, so massive overrepresentation. And the same thing can be said with autism. Well, the analysis is a little messier, scientific-wise. From what I understand, when it comes to, like, online offenses, stalking, harassment, sort of fixation-based behavior, and some sexual boundary offenses as well, such as pedophilia, obviously the social naivety, the rigid thinking, the intense fixation, the loneliness, the misunderstanding of, like, age and consent norms that a lot of autistic people face could play a role. That's not saying that autism in and of itself is a predictor for horrific crimes at all. But it's the traits that come with very untreated, undocumented, what's the word? When you're not undiagnosed, that's it, undiagnosed and mistreated autism, if that makes sense. Sometimes the neurodivergent, they misjudge when it comes to social boundaries, but isn't an excuse for assault. Of course it's not an excuse, but it's very important to understand, because if you don't understand what's causing these actions, then it's going to be very difficult to fix the problem or sort the issue. But, like, autism's not a predictor by any means. Most autistic people will not commit any of those crimes. It's usually a cluster of things, like isolation, also comorbid ADHD, because if you're autistic, you're a lot more likely to have ADHD, and ADHD is a legitimate predictor because of impulsivity mainly. There's also the trauma that might come with autism, especially through COVID and, what was it, quarantine for sure. It does not help when it comes to like social boundaries or learning how to be social. Substance abuse as well. You're a lot more likely to abuse substances if you're autistic. I think sex education massively needs to be improved throughout the West. Pretty much, generally. Wait, Jidion's calling me.
I like both of y'all. I like Blood. I like you. I just want to listen.
That's all good.
So, yeah, because, I just want to hear. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I mean, you're more than welcome. Are you going to be on call, or do you want to, or should I?
What time's the debate?
He said he'll be ready in 10 minutes, 11 minutes ago.
Oh, so it could be like any second.
Yeah, he'll send a message just pretty soon, I think.
Oh, bet. Here, yeah, I'll stay in the call and listen. Is it beef between you two, or is it just a discussion?
I made a video response to this bloke called Pooh Boy, who like he made a video on me, you, and a YouTuber called Papa Gut, who were very defensive of Phibz, I suppose. I reacted to that, and then Bludspeth put out a post calling me like, it was a very mean post. It was very, very strongly worded, so I don't think they like me very much. It's nothing personal between me, but I think the content is dog shit. And I don't like the way that they cover lolcows and stuff. I'll read the post out, actually. I can show you guys, to be fair. This is kind of important context. Okay, let me share screen. Here we go. I just watched Dan Keysro's response to Pooh Boy's video, which he was a minimal part of on stream, and it's honestly one of the most garbage, infuriating, misinformed, and narcissistic videos I've ever seen. On multiple occasions, he absolutely loses his shit and starts screaming like a literal child over topics he completely misunderstands, insulting Pooh Boy and suffering an extreme cortisol spike. Not just that, he is completely misinformed and says countless objectively incorrect and misleading things in this video. He accuses Pooh Boy and me of not doing research, but at the same time downplays and brushes past serious evidence and straight up ignores other things. I will cover all this in my response video, which will be up by tomorrow. FYI, Danky said in confidence that he does not think that Nova is a pedophile. Hope that gives you an idea of who he is, but don't worry, he doesn't say the R word or make fun of people's looks, so he's better than those dirty Lolcow YouTubers. So that's the post he put up.
Oh man, okay.
I left a comment essentially.
Now Nova.
We can have a chat on screen. We can have a chat, and he was like, "Sure."
Nova's a Nova's a what's it called? He's a different
He's a different beast. I agree, but I also didn't say in confidence that he wasn't a pedophile. I said something along the lines of, "I never called him a pedophile" in my first video. But that was like a year ago, and I don't know enough about him to have a strong opinion, really, because I don't obsess over, like, this guy Bludspeth, he has 35 videos on Nova Online. I don't obsess over him that much. I don't know. I honestly don't know if that's like an appropriate label. My issue with the pedophile claim, I said this already, is that there are legitimately bad things that Phibz has done. I'm sure me and you can agree on that, yeah?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
but when you throw around the term pedophile, that sort of detracts from the conversation about those really bad things, because then the whole conversation becomes about the pedophile claim. So if we leave that out and don't over-sensationalize that bullshit, then we can have a genuine discussion about the self-harm stuff and the role play with the minors and all that. But when you throw around the term pedophile willy-nilly, it just sort of deads every other claim. But do you, hang on, wait, real quick, Bludspeth, is your government name out there, or should I just call you Bludspeth?
Yeah, it's Bludspeth's fine. I know it's a little silly, but yeah.
All right, Bludspeth's cool.
I mean, Blood is too.
Okay. How old are you, real quick, as well?
18.
18. Okay, cool. No problem.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So all right. Do you want to start then?
Yeah, I watched your response video on Pooh Boy yesterday, and yeah, I don't think he made the most perfect video. There are definitely things I would have changed. I do very much disagree with the response and a lot of the ways you acted during parts of it, and some of the points you make, as well as the you did ignore some things as well, which I don't want to assume that it's malicious, but I felt that they were like really important. But we'll get into that.
Okay, sure. So my argument is pretty simple.
Yeah.
I think Phibz did things that were inappropriate and dangerous and irresponsible around minors. I'm not defending those actions, but I'm saying the evidence does not support calling her a pedophile. And those are two very different claims. So if you want to call her unsafe around minors, if you want to, I'll have that conversation, right? If that's what you want to say. If you want to say she shouldn't run a Discord with minors, I completely agree. If you want to say that her self-harm comments were disgusting and potentially harmful, I agree with that as well. But if you want to call her a pedophile, you need actual evidence of sexual attraction to children, and I don't think that that evidence exists here.
Okay. So have you looked into the new stuff?
The new screenshots with Vance, yeah?
Yeah, so then, and you agreed in Pooh Boy's video that it was inappropriate, right?
Yeah, the self-harm stuff is the worst part of this. I don't think it was harmless. I don't think it was just cringe. I think it was dangerous, especially around many young and vulnerable fans. But my disagreement isn't over whether or not that's bad. My disagreement is over whether that makes them a pedophile.
But you understand the precedent of her already having an established history with fetishizing and sexualizing self-harm, right? And when you do it in private with a minor, you could argue that that's sexual, isn't it?
I don't think you could argue that unless you had very good evidence that it was sexual. It strengthens
Well,
the
there
case.
is evidence that.
It strengthens the case that she shouldn't be around minor-heavy communities, which she definitely shouldn't. But it doesn't strengthen the case that she's sexually attracted to children.
So she sexualizes self-harm,
Does she?
and
Wait,
she
wait, wait.
talks about,
What do you mean she sexualizes self-harm?
I
So
want someone to carve their name into me.
those new bits, the new evidence you showed was how long did I remember someone saying they knew each other for 3 days at that point, correct?
Yeah, I said that. Then they did.
Yeah. So
All the discussions
so it's
happened within 3 days.
it's not as
Sorry,
though
go ahead.
it's not as though Phibz groomed this person into self-harm. This was a young kid who had a lot of problems that was getting involved with another very mentally ill, not as young child, but 19 years old. And they were sort of feeding off of each other's trauma, if that makes sense. Now, Phibz, as the adult, absolutely should have removed herself from that position, but there was nothing sexual about those conversations. I think you really need to start digging and reaching to find some sexual shit there.
No, I mean those two are really what do it for me. Just because, and Pooh Boy made this point. He said if it was anyone else, they could have given her the benefit of the doubt because she claimed in my DMs that it wasn't inherently or that wasn't sexual. The ooh statements, and the reason that we think so, and I mean I don't know if you do as well, but she has an established history of sexualizing self-harm. So when you talk about self-harm in private to a minor, by the way, at 3 a.m., would it be outrageous for one to find that inappropriate?
No, it's not outrageous to find it inappropriate. It's outrageous to call her a pedophile because of it.
So she says inappropriate things in DMs with a minor, but she's not a pedophile?
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what my point is.
So
Does
I
saying
don't
does
even know
hang
what to
on,
say to
hang on,
that.
hang on. Does is your definition of pedophile someone who says inappropriate things in DMs with minors?
You realize inappropriate is referring to sexual, not just not appropriate.
Yes, even weird sexual jokes made to minors doesn't make you a pedophile.
It wasn't a joke.
What do you mean? What
Did you think
she
did
said?
you think
She
the
said
ooh statements were jokes?
no,
Do you
no,
think the
no.
other statements were jokes?
I don't think the ooh statements were jokes. I think the ooh statements was her being interested in what was being said.
Interested in the self-harm where there's an already established precedent that she sexualizes.
She was interested in the self-harm, yeah. Didn't she immediately say after, like, stay safe, I've been through this before?
She said, "I hope you'll be okay," and then she sent an edit. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
you,
again, they were talking at that point for I think that was the second day they were speaking.
okay, well, you were calling her a pedophile from way before that evidence came out, so what happened before it that made you think it was appropriate to call her a pedophile?
That's not the conversation at hand. It's whether she is or not, which I'm showing the current proof right now.
So you think, so that's the only evidence you have that they're a pedophile?
That's the only evidence. Yeah, all the screenshots. That's my reasoning behind it. Yeah.
Okay, can we talk about the CSAM thing real quick? Because I thought the conversation was about Phibz in general, not about two screenshots.
Well, it was about her being a pedophile, and those were being used as proof. But if you want to switch to a different topic,
Well,
we can.
you made 3 videos on Phibz, and you declared that she was a pedophile in
Four.
in your 4, and you declared she was a pedophile in your first one.
I used it in my thumbnail. Yeah.
Okay, so did you not actually think she was a pedophile, or was it just a thumbnail thing? Was it just like clickbait?
Well, I wouldn't clickbait something like that. That'd be very inappropriate. But
Okay, so you
no,
did think
I definitely did still think so with the inappropriate comments she was making in a server with minors.
was one of the reasons you thought she was a pedophile because of the defense of the CSAM.
No, that statement already was weird. We were taking what she said and believing it. So she said she defended someone with CP, not someone else. And I literally said in my video, I don't know if she meant it that way, and I hope she didn't. I said that in the video.
You said
But
you said
that
you said it was very dangerous to keep Zane in the Discord server because Zane was a CSAM enjoyer.
she said that she kept someone in the server who she said was supporting CP, and I was saying that is dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, Zane.
Yes, that's right.
But you didn't look into Zayn. You didn't look into what Zayn actually did.
I saw a few screenshots, nothing substantial, but I mean, I did hear. Well, she actually told me. I talked to her earlier, not earlier, a few days ago. So she said initially that it was something about him consuming CP
Hmm.
when he was a minor, and then she said that later she was enlightened of some things and ended up blocking him anyway. So
Okay, but
she's kind of bouncing around. Sorry, go ahead.
I asked if you looked into what Zayn actually did in regards to the CP.
I mean, I tried. I didn't see much. If you want to inform me, I would greatly appreciate that.
I mean, it was in my video that the CP, the CSAM, was a 17-year-old anime character drawn in a lewd fashion. That was liked by
Was that
Zayn.
a?
That was liked by Zayn at 13 years old.
Mhm. Yeah, I did. I did hear that. Was that in? Did Phibz say that, or where was that? Just
Um,
curious.
you can see in your first video when you make the initial claim, they're talking about Naruto. So you can sort of kind of gather it there, but then when you look at Zayn's actual profile, and this was out at the time, I covered it in my first video about Phibz. It
Hmm.
was just a 17-year-old image of an anime character, presumably a Naruto one, I guess.
Okay. Well, if that is the case, then no, that's definitely in no way comparable to actual CSAM. But she's telling me different. She said she did end up blocking him because the guy turned out to do weird things. So I really don't know what deal is with this Zane individual. She hasn't provided any proof.
Right, but
I guess
you claimed that she was defending pedophilia, defending someone who watched CP.
I said that she said she was defending someone who watched CB. Those were her words verbatim. She was defending someone who is involved with CP. I don't know what it involved with or whatever, but those were her words, and I parroted that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Pooh Boy said something along. Well, Pooh Boy did make the direct accusation that she was defending someone or defending pedophilia. So, would you be able to
All right.
acknowledge that Pooh Boy falsely accused Phibz of defending pedophilia based on the knowledge that we have?
Yeah, he definitely shouldn't have included that, given the current knowledge. Absolutely.
Right. It was a false accusation of pedophilia defense.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Um. So look, I think we've hit a bit of a roadblock because
Hmm.
it's a point where you believe that the evidence shown goes beyond just inappropriate messages or sexual messages of minors. You think it enters the realm of pedophilia, yeah?
I do, yeah.
Okay. So do you think that Phibz? Well, I guess how would you define pedophile then?
Attraction of minors. It's kind of layman's terms, but yeah, that's what I
Attraction
would
to
say.
minors, and your evidence of
Yep.
her attraction to minors is her saying "ooh" at the mention of self harm.
Her, as you also agree with, expressing interest in self-harm, which is already established that she finds sexual. Yeah. With
Okay.
and
Okay.
showing that interest to a 14-year-old in DMs at night. Yeah.
Okay. Let's say I find glasses sexual, for example. Like I'm really sexually attracted to glasses.
Okay.
If I show an interest in a miner's glasses, does that immediately mean because I have a thing for glasses that I'm being a pedophile? I know this might not be the best example, but I'm on the spot here.
No, that is not even comparable. Those two things, glasses and self-harm. Glasses is something that some people need. It's a tool, and self-harm is one of the most terrible things you could do to yourself. It's very, very, very damaging to oneself, to one's health, to one's mental health.
Hmm.
Uh, I can't even. I'm not even going to engage with that because that's just really insane logical fallacy to compare glasses to self-harm, especially with in regards to sexual attraction, to which fetishes exist for self-harm, and this person does have a fetish, and they did partake in that, as opposed to an accessory. You see how that's kind of a
Well,
very
I'm making a distinction. It's an example.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the best example. If you give me some more time, I'm sure I could think of a better one. But do you understand where I'm coming? Do you understand where I'm coming from at least?
I understand why you may be thinking a certain way, but I don't think that's applicable to something like self-harm at all.
Do you understand why
and
I think you're being way too quick to call this person a pedophile? And that if you call this pedophilia, it sort of detracts from the word pedophile to begin with?
I can see maybe the line of reasoning that could get you to come to that conclusion, but I don't agree.
To me, she seems like a chronically online 19-year-old who acted like she was still 14, surrounded herself with teenagers, overshared sexual and self-harm content, and failed to understand the responsibility that comes with being an adult in the room. That's bad enough. You don't need to inflate it into pedophilia to make it condemnable.
I don't need to make it any more condemnable than it is. I'm just calling out, as I believe it is, a display of pedophilia. And the new stuff just cemented it for me.
Okay. So you think she's deliberately... Do you think she's, like, grooming them? Do you think she's, like, attracted to this minor? Like, wants to have sex with the minor?
Well, she was engaging in, for her specifically, interest in a sexual topic in the first 2 days of talking to one particular minor, which thankfully they cut it off early. I mean, if that's what she was doing on day 2, could you imagine if that went on? I mean, it's a consistent pattern. And, you know, a good thing to note is that she did this after the first time the set of videos that came out about her. So she heard all the criticism and did it again.
So you think she's attracted to minors?
Yes.
Okay. Well, for the record, her doing this again after being called out for it is something that I knew would happen. I know Jidion's in this call. It's something I said in the interview when he interviewed me. I said that, I'm not sure if you remember this, Jidion, when I said she should get offline because I can see something like this happening again. Because this is what happens when very mentally ill people who went through quarantine, who haven't had much social development, who haven't had the chance to talk to people, who are being bullied relentlessly, who have very easy access to minors online through this whole Discord server and TikTok or whatever, and a Discord where there are plenty of minors inside of it. It's like a community where she finally feels as though she can actually express herself without being bullied horrendously. And so she got way too comfortable, and I think if you want to say there was like unintentional predatory behavior in there, that's not something that I would necessarily argue with. I think predator is a very different claim from pedophile, but the word predator is just so broad that I'm not really a big fan
But
of it
what are
as a
they preying
descriptor.
on?
Pardon?
If they're a predator, what are they preying on?
Well, I don't think they are a predator.
But you said you wouldn't find it unreasonable to call them an unintentional predator. So
I think
would she be
that was
preying on?
I think that was unintentional predatory behavior. Yeah.
You said unintentional predator.
Yeah, because there seemed to be some sort of comfort in this community of self-harm, which is really, really grim. But it's not
So-
pedophilia.
If she's an unintentional predator and she's preying on minors,
I think there was
what do you call that?
there was unintentional predation. Well, you can but the thing is, mate, something being too expensive is predatory. Like the definition of predatory extends so far. If you overprice something, that's predatory behavior. So if I sold a Snickers bar for triple the price I bought it for to a minor, that is me preying upon a minor. It doesn't automatically mean pedophilia.
And when the topic is in regards to self-harm, which the person finds sexual,
Just because first of all, I don't think that there's any evidence that, or I don't think that there's sufficient evidence that she finds self-harm sexual in all scenarios, no matter what, especially in regards to minor. Like if she if she finds self-harm sexual, I think it's a lot more reasonable to assume, well, because self-harm isn't sexual. All right, hang on. What exactly is your evidence that she sees self-harm as sexual in all cases?
I did not say verbatim all cases because, as you said, it's a very wide definition, self-harm. I
Okay.
mean, stubbing your toe on purpose is one, but the way she puts it in the screenshots, carving, cutting, that was very much established. Very much established.
Where was it
And when
established that she got some sort of sexual thrill for this, from this?
sorry,
Where was it
are you
established that
implying that
that?
it wasn't sexual?
I'm asking you the
What
evidence.
other,
I'm asking the evidence.
yeah, the quote, I want someone to carve their name into me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not sexual?
Well, it could be, but it also couldn't
It
be.
could be.
It could be.
It also couldn't be. You can apply that to a lot of things, but I think it's just ignorant, purposefully ignorant, to even imply that could be anything other than sexual, especially with this scenario.
Why?
Because the proof's in the pudding. She's made these statements, and it's the tone of sexual. What about, okay, since you think it's not sexual, I think it's due. It is, pardon me. Jidion, do you think? I just want to get a third opinion.
Okay.
What's up?
Jidion. Yeah, do you think the statements she made in regards to the the cutting and I want someone to carve their name into me, is that sexual?
Um, Me personally, like I could see it being a lot of different things. You know what I mean? Like I could definitely see it being a sexual thing. I could also see it being more of a deprived thing. You know what I mean? It's
A
like
deprived
someone,
thing.
you know what I mean? It's like someone like liking watching animals be harmed. Is it could be a sexual thing for them. It could also be just like something sick that they're into. You know what I mean? So it's just like
Something
I
sick
would
that
say
they're
it's
into.
more me personally, where I would come from. I would say it's more sick than it is sexual, but I could definitely see it being sexual. Does that make sense?
I mean, either way, it's sick, isn't it? Even if she does find it sexual, which she does, that's also sick,
Well, why do people
is it not?
self-harm? Why do
But but
people?
but you used to ask me if it was a sexual thing specifically.
Yeah.
It's like, do
If
you
you want,
see it
if
as being more sick or do you see it as being more sexual?
no, if you want to call it sick, no one's going to argue with you, mate.
Of course, but I'm also calling it sexual, and some people are arguing against that, which personally I don't agree
I
with.
guess I
But
guess like I mean I could definitely see it like if that's what you're into, if that's what you get your rocks off, if she's getting her rocks off to that, then yeah, it's sexual. I mean, do you
well,
personally think she was getting her rocks off to it?
absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely. And
where's your evidence for that?
so her statements were, I want to carve into someone and kiss the scars. Are you going to
Okay,
say
then
that's not sexual?
Yeah, but
if she said kiss, then I would say maybe. Yeah.
but
Okay,
that's
so that's what she said.
yeah, but that's a lot of people say things like that, but don't genuinely like. Do you think that she genuinely wants to do that? Do you really
What?
think she wants to genuinely carve her name into someone and kiss the scars?
Well, it's very clearly a sexual fantasy.
Okay, all right, fine.
It doesn't
But
matter if she genuinely
But
wants to do it.
Vance was committing self-harm upon themselves, right? Had nothing to
They
do
were,
had nothing to do with Phibz. All Phibz did
but
was
it's
all Phibz did was reply with ooh.
showing interest, yeah. And to self-harm, which it's established that she finds sexual, right?
She replied with ooh.
You said yourself that shows interest.
Yeah, it shows she's in. It could mean so many things. Even me saying it shows interest is an assumption. Like, we don't know exactly what was going through her head in that moment. But it's not as though Vance shared any pictures of the self-harm or anything along those lines. It was just
Because
Vance.
that was their second day of talking. You understand that
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
not saying she is a groomer, but with
No,
that
but you
process,
hang
it's
on,
kind
hang
of
on.
a
You're saying she's a pedophile.
yeah,
You're saying she's attracted to minors.
yes. That is different from the act of grooming,
Sure.
which is very commonly used by pedophiles. And if someone were to argue that she was, I wouldn't exactly not see any reasoning behind it. But on the second day, you're arguing that there's no full measures, I guess that's a way to put it. But they were talking for literally a day or two at that point, which even just that, someone you just started talking to, 14-year-old at 19, is crazy. Expressing interest also is crazy, and especially when it's a topic that we have established she finds sexual.
Yeah, she shouldn't have been
You
doing
under
it. It was very inappropriate. It was very dangerous. She shouldn't be talking to minors that way. It was very irresponsible.
sexually, right?
She,
Sexually,
but
right?
she wasn't talking to them sexually. Didn't
But she
hang
was
on, wait,
expressing
Jidion,
interest.
Jidion, Jidion. Can you correct me if I'm wrong? Didn't Vance tell you that nothing sexual happened in those messages?
The messages that Vance sent to me, the private messages that I went through, I didn't see anything sexual, and Vance told me that nothing sexual happened. Or Vance told me that they just felt weird, but nothing sexual or anything like that. They just felt weird.
Yeah, of course it's weird. It's like weird is an understatement. It's fucking disgusting what was going on there. But if Vance himself is saying that there was nothing sexual behind those messages, then are you calling them a liar or something? Like, what is your point exactly?
Well, that's referring to sex, like sexual acts, as opposed to something that Phibs finds sexual, self-harm. So those are two different things that there weren't any yet. Like don't know what could have happened if they kept talking. I mean, I dread to think of the possibilities, but they didn't say something sexual at that point. They said something in regards to a topic that Phibs fetishizes and finds sexual, which Phibs expressed interest in, which is my point.
So you're arguing that that Vance coincidentally sent something into the messages that Phibs just so happened to find sexual. And because Phibs didn't interact with the message the right way, they're a pedophile.
Coincidentally,
Well, yeah, it's not as though,
maybe,
it's not as though Phibs asked them to send the self-harm messages, is it?
well, they told him to vent,
Right. I guess that's Phibs
and
trying to help in her own fucked up way.
yeah, it is. And as a result of that, the minor talked about self-harm topics, very graphic, and which is something that, as we've established, Phibs finds sexual, and she responded with interest in and kept the conversation going. Maybe they didn't expressly continue and talk about details, but again, it was their second day talking.
Well, she didn't
Could you
respond.
have,
She didn't respond sexually though, did she?
she expressed interest?
Right, but you're assuming that there was sexual interest there.
Yes, because
Okay.
as
All
we've
right. All right. Thank
established,
you. Thank you. Thank you. Wait. So it is an
yeah,
assumption.
can you please just
Of course. Go ahead,
calm
mate.
down?
My bad.
It's all right. I'm saying she expressed interest into this minor talking about something that we've established she finds sexual. That's my point, and that's my reasoning as to why I believe she's a pedophile.
Okay. I mean, I personally think it just strengthens the cases that she shouldn't be around minor-heavy communities, and that she shouldn't have had this Discord, and that she shouldn't be interacting with minors, and that she just shouldn't be on the internet to begin with. That's what I think those messages show. I think that calling her a pedophile based on those messages, especially exclusively based on those messages, is fucking ridiculous. And I think it waters down the definition of pedophile to such a inappropriate extent. And I think also when you throw terms around like pedophile, it muddies the waters so much that the entire discussion becomes around the word pedophile, and it detracts massively from the genuinely disgusting things that are being done here by Phibs, such as the romanticization of self-harm, such as having all these minors in the Discord. We can't talk about any of that anymore because all of a sudden, now all we're talking about is pedophilia and whether or not Phibs is a pedophile, which I just don't think there's any evidence for whatsoever.
I mean, I will say all my videos have been about her actions. They weren't about why I believe she's a pedophile. I mean, yeah, I'm calling her one, but it wasn't centered around that word. The only topic I've seen about it is with your response. That's when the conversation started.
What do you mean?
Like with your response to Pooh Boy.
Yeah, but you're saying to me here that you think she's a pedophile.
Yeah, I do. But I'm
So
saying that my videos were about her actions and not just revolving around that specific word, as you said.
your last video on Phibz, I can share my screen. It says pedo exposed.
Yeah, but it's not about the word, as you said. I was talking about her actions and how they're problematic.
The one before it was pedo responds. The one before that one was chopped pedo.
Yeah, that's the thumbnail. But in the actual video, the important part, I talk about their actions and not just the single word that you say I did.
Of course, but you're talking about how those actions make her a pedophile.
Yeah, but I'm not revolving the discussion around that word. I'm
I
revolving the
no,
discussion around
I'm
your
I'm not
actions.
saying that you specifically are revolving discussion around the word. I'm saying that
Okay.
I'm saying that when you throw that word out there, that's what the discussion becomes about. Because it sort of nulls and
Well,
voids every potential allegation that comes before it, because it is by far the most damning one. When you call someone a pedophile, no one cares about self-harm. When you call someone a pedophile, no one gives a fuck about the weird jokes made to minors. They care about the pedophile claim, because that is by far the most important one. That's why I
I mean,
think it's
isn't
so
that all
harmful
we've
to
been talking
over-exaggerate the
about?
claim. Pardon?
I mean, that's all we've been talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, of course that's all we've been talking about, because that's what I mainly disagree with you on, is the fact that she's a pedophile.
Yeah, and again, but you were the one who started the discussion. I didn't see anyone arguing about that until people started saying that Phibs was innocent, which just is a whole other can of worms, to be honest with you.
People are
But
only saying that Phibs is innocent because people are labeling her a pedophile. If the claim was as simple as she was acting inappropriately and disgustingly around minors, no one would be calling her innocent, because it's very difficult to disagree with those claims based on the evidence provided. If someone disagrees with those claims, then I don't know, you'd either have to be trying really hard or you just have to be an idiot. But when you start throwing around the term pedophile, that's when the term innocent comes around. Like, if you ask
the
Jidion
term
why.
innocent
Pardon?
came from Jidion.
Yeah, of course,
That's
because.
when everyone started calling
Yes,
her.
because people were calling her a pedophile, and Jidion
Wait,
deals with.
what did you say?
Um, we're talking about the people calling her innocent, and I said that you said that she was innocent, which is what started the discussion.
But I.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I saw a lot of people even before all of that saying that, but it's just you know, whenever if you don't do what I do and you're saying that, you're just going to be called a pedo or a pedo defender, and so obviously those videos aren't going to get as much sauce like what's his face but the point that I was getting at is like Denki he made his video saying that she wasn't a pedophile even before I made my video, and that's what made him even react to my video, because he went in thinking that I was going to have like the same thing. And I mean, I think you can I well, going into it from what I knew before, yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I really did think she was a pedo, and I feel like it would have been really easy to go with that. And I feel like the situation's more where if you think she's a pedo, you're gonna keep on thinking she's a pedo. You know what I mean? And then it's if you hear the evidence and you really think it out and you change your mind, like I came to the same conclusion that I think she's a weirdo. But me personally, pedophile, that's a whole different can of worms. But I think it's just to each their own, and it shouldn't be a to each their own situation. When it comes to pedophilia, it really needs to be cut and dry. Like, is this person a pedophile? Yes or no? And I think the fact that it is a to each their own situation is bad on both ends, because if she is a pedophile, then you got people thinking that she's not a pedophile, and then if she isn't a pedophile, then you got people saying that she is a pedophile. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
But I think it reflects
So
badly on Lolcow YouTube as a whole, because I think YouTubers like Bludspeth and Poofa, or whatever his name is,
Poo boy.
Poo, what is it? Poo what?
Boy.
Poo boy, that's it. Are almost financially rewarded for being exceptionally lazy with their callouts. I think the term pedophile, I think the accusation of pedophile is really lazy. I think it's a cop-out. I think it's a word that is being used because you don't want to actually engage with the nuance of the conversation.
I mean, if you were to say that people throw that term around too loosely, I definitely do agree. But for Phibbs's case, that's where I kind of don't agree. But
Okay.
I mean, we've established that.
I mean, me personally, like, ever since I said what I said about Phibs, I saw people on TikTok calling me a pedophile. I see people on TikTok calling me a pedophile. So it's just like, what I've noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you probably see it the same. I noticed that mostly all the people that's calling Phibz a pedophile, they are either like in their teens or younger. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like it's newer kids and stuff like that, or younger kids, and definitely since I started EDP Watch, like in my emails, I get kids emailing me all the time, like, "Oh, yo, I'm 17, and there's this 19." Obviously, I know the Phibs situation is different, but like, I'll have people be like, "Oh, I'm 17, and this 19-year-old's hitting me up. He's a pedo. Come expose him," and stuff like that. And it's just like, you know,
I
and
mean, I see
majority
your
of these people, a majority of these people that are in my email saying that, they're the same people out here making TikToks and different stuff. And I mean, the only difference is where, other people are saying what they're saying. There's fake screenshots going on around her and stuff like that. Bludspeth, you're like, one of the only people that like really know as much of the situation as anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, you know more about the situation than me. And
obviously.
Well,
yeah. And
not
so
really,
like,
not really though. He didn't know about the CSAM just being a 17-year-old anime picture.
I
yeah,
saw
yeah,
that,
I'm not
but
gonna lie. Yeah, when so me personally, me personally, Bloodsmith, like your first video, and I told Bloodsmith this like off cam, like his first video, I wasn't really convinced that she was a pedo, but it was until his second video where it was the conversation, the role playing with when he was talking about her role playing with minors. That's when I was like, okay. And then when he was talking about her defending one of her friends that had CSAM, that's where I had made up in my mind, like, oh damn, like she really is on that timing. And then I learned about the CSAM stuff and I was like, oh, so that's what that was. I was like, okay. And then I read the role play myself and I was just like, oh, So that's why I said what I said. And yeah.
I definitely see your point. I did see the talk about the Naruto screenshots, but I guess I shouldn't have believed Phibs because she said that he was defending CP, and I mean she told me again after. So,
Right, and you
but
didn't,
it's
and
that
you didn't look into it.
I did look into it, but one
Well,
screenshot doesn't explain a whole.
if you looked into it, then you would have known that it was about an anime picture.
That was one screenshot.
What's that thing called when like you can't trust the narrator of a story? You know what that literary device is called?
I something about pathetic fallacy or something like that. I'm not too unreliable narrator. I'm not sure if there's a specific word for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unreliable narrator. Yeah. So, um, me personally, like when I talked to Phibs, I didn't feel any like deceit or anything coming from her. Uh, and kind of when she describes situations, like what at least I notice is when she recounts it in the worst possible way possible. But then when I find out what happened from other sources, like when you played the video of her saying that she was role playing with minors, you know, I'm over here
Mhm.
and she admitted, like, yes, I was role playing with minors. I'm over here thinking the worst, like, oh my gosh, she's role playing with minors. What the hell? But then the minor in question sends me the video or the all the screenshots, and I'm reading the role play, and I'm just like, you know,
Well, the role plays were almost all in calls, as the miner said.
Yeah, but the minor
no, no,
also, but
fair,
the
fair.
wait, no, but the minor also said that nothing sexual happened.
And my point is that Phibbs found something sexual with the miner.
Yeah, yeah, but there's no evidence for that. That is a pure assumption. Like you're saying that because I
Based
don't want
on
to assume why
evidence.
but it's not really based on evidence though. It is an assumption.
It is based on
It's
evidence
based on
because her
two
words
messages
verbatim.
of her saying ooh.
No, it's based on also the screenshots from before that establish a precedent that she finds self-harm sexual.
Okay, can we talk what's so I'm remembering specific screenshots of what her saying carve the name and kiss the
Yeah.
carvings or something along those lines.
Scars, yep.
The scars. Let's actually go on your channel and try to have a look at these. I do believe you. From what I remember, I do think those were the messages. But I just don't think it's too
Yep.
relevant
Good to know.
during the Vans conversation. I just don't think it's relevant to the Vans conversation at all.
at 6 minutes.
It's all good. I'm not like, I believe you. I don't need to.
No, I know. I'm just making it easier for you to look up.
Okay, sure, but I don't think it's relevant to the Vans conversation at all.
Well, I feel that it establishes a precedent about Phibs' sexual attractions and is applicable in her later conversations.
Well, just because she's sexually attracted to self-harm, that doesn't mean that she's
And
that doesn't mean that she's sexually attracted to minors.
So I guess one thing I have to say is, do you see it as if someone says they don't think Phibs is a pedophile, that's them defending her?
no, I think they have a different point of view, and I get that, but I disagree.
So you
Okay.
don't. So you
So
don't. Do you see us as like pedophile defenders because of our opinion?
Not with Phibs, no.
Why?
Well, I think you don't believe she's a pedophile. It's not like you're defending a pedophilic. It's not like you're defending, pardon me, being attracted to minors. I see you have a different point of view. Personally, I disagree. And I made
I
my
didn't watch
point.
Pooh's video, but like kind of like from the title, like I seen, it kind of seems like he was saying, or I don't even know if it's he. It kind of just felt like they were saying, what we were pedophile defenders. Is that what happened, Danky, in the video? You watched it, right?
Yeah, he calls us disgusting pigs at the end as well. I don't think he explicitly says pedophile defenders, but
Uh,
He,
you know, I mean, like me personally, like I don't know, like I just try to look at it like, what benefit do I get from not trying to get Phibs, I'm not talking about you, Bludspeth, but like just in general, like it's, I'm not getting a fan base or anything from, oh yeah, nah, Phibs, it's not like, I'm on Michael Jackson's team and I'm saying, oh yeah, he's not a pedo and I'm getting money.
Mhm. No, I understand that. If you want to argue that, I mean, it's your channel, to your platform. You can absolutely do whatever you want with it. But I mean, the topic at hand is whether or not she's a pedophile, and we're just looking at the
No,
evidence.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
okay, wait.
no, yeah.
I've got a question. If I thought that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a pedophile, would you call me a pedo defender?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and the reason why is because Jeffrey Epstein is a pedophile, and me saying that he's not would be defending pedophiles. Yeah.
Because there's millions of files showing that
Okay.
he had sex with children.
Right. So you're saying because the level of evidence for Jeffrey Epstein is so high, it'd be a lot more defensive of pedophilia to claim that he's not a pedophile. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, fine. So at least you're acknowledging that with Phibs, the evidence isn't so overwhelming. It's weak enough to where not seeing her as a pedophile is a completely reasonable take.
I think it's ratio maybe 70-30, no, 80-20. I could see with that I can actually like see the line of reasoning behind it. I don't agree with it at all, but I see it, which just shows that you don't defend pedophilia. But I'm saying with Phibs, in my opinion, from what I've seen and what a lot of people agree with, there is enough evidence to say that she engaged in sexual conversations with a minor.
Right. Well, the number of people who agree with something doesn't dictate the validity of the claim, just to be clear.
Absolutely, sure, yeah.
Right. So it's your opinion here that matters, especially because you're the one with the platform.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I don't think this is going to go anywhere then, because there's just a fundamental disagreement in terms of you believing those messages are pedophilic or that she's attracted to minors because of them. I don't think I'll be able to have a discussion about you or with you
Well,
go on.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that she finds self-harm sexual?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Nope.
So, when presented with a screenshot where she says, I want to carve into someone, then kiss their scars, is that sexual?
I think it's a gross romanticization of self-harm.
But you don't think it's sexual?
Well, it's not that I think it's not sexual, it's that I don't know. It's that the evidence isn't strong enough. That's one message sent from a very mentally ill, socially inept child a couple months ago.
A grown adult, but
18 is not a grown adult.
yes, 18 years old is the deadline where you become an adult.
Okay, well, I guess
And
I guess
gain
if you want to play fast
responsibility.
and loose with definitions, sure, but I personally don't see 18 as grown adult. Especially
Well, I
when,
mean, if you personally don't see it.
especially when you're as mentally ill as Phibz is. She's been held back from high school twice. Like, she's very much not the mental capacity of the average 19-year-old.
I mean, she could also have a late birthday, but that also is, we don't know exactly much. I mean, she's 19 in high school. Doesn't exactly mean anything. You said that proves how mentally disabled she is. Personally, I don't
Well,
agree.
it doesn't prove it. That's one variant of a multivariate equation that dictates how mentally ill she is. There's plenty of other.
Well, that's what you said. So, in
At least
your
from what
response,
she told me, she's at what? She said that she was at a 4th grade reading level.
Yeah.
yeah, but she's in high school, so clearly it's not completely holding her back.
But I mean, they're not
but
going
you
to
can
have
still have a
19-year-old in
yeah, you can still have
they're not
fourth
going to have a
grade.
19-year-old in elementary school.
You can still have a 4th grade reading level in high school.
I guess that is a possibility in some circumstances, yeah. But the main reason I even made that community post was just the whole response to Pooh Boy,
Mm-hmm.
and I personally really don't agree with the way you acted in it. I'm just gonna show a few examples. At one point, there was a screenshot. I don't know if you remember the tickle my pickle thing.
Oh,
that
yeah,
Phibz
yeah.
said. Yeah. And on the screenshot, very clear, the context provided said it was about a minor.
Yep.
But you still, I'm not assuming, I don't want to assume that you're malicious.
I
don't think
dismissed it.
you are.
I remember the clip. I know the tickle my pickle message. I think it was a really gross thing to say, a very inappropriate joke to make towards a minor. But do I genuinely believe that she went off and masturbated over the thought of this minor? No.
Is that the only qualifying factor in being inappropriate towards a minor, whether they masturbate or not?
No. It was
Would
it was a very inappropriate sexual joke made towards a minor.
So what do you call someone who says inappropriate things to a minor?
I would call them someone who's very inappropriate towards minors. Someone who shouldn't be around minors online. Someone who shouldn't have the platform that they have. Someone who shouldn't be on the internet. You can't call someone a pedophile because they make a sexual joke towards a minor. You call someone a pedophile if they have an over attraction to minors and are almost like an imminent danger to them.
Over-attraction. An over-attraction? So if they're only kind of attracted.
Overt.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, it's all good. That's my accent.
I don't understand accents too well. I mean, again, I can see the line of reasoning. So that's why with Phibz, I'm not saying that you're a pedophile defender. I don't think you support pedophiles, but I do think you're not, I guess, seeing it in the right way. But back to, what was I talking about? Yeah, the stream. I don't know if obviously you did. I do believe you made a lot of narcissistic comments in the stream, and that really distracted from Pooh Boy's points. So my main example is especially at the end. He had a whole segment where he was talking about how female predators are not taken as seriously in society. Would you agree?
I'd say yeah. That's probably an issue that should be talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. And when he did, you were yelling the whole time about how you don't see that way, and you also didn't call Nova a pedophile, which is a whole other can of worms, which completely just blew past this point. And then when he wanted to use a personal experience to accentuate the point, you said it was shitty of him for him to do, which I felt was a very inappropriate and rude comment to say to someone who experienced such personal things and talked about it. Your chat wasn't much better.
Well, I'm not dismissing his trauma. That's me saying that I disagree with attributing what happened to you at a young age, or the Invincible character, which was so obviously pedophilia, and so obviously pedophilia, to equate and I guess compare that behavior to to compare that behavior to Phibz, who was nowhere near that level, I thought that was a shitty thing to do.
But the central point he was making was about female predators not being taken seriously. Because would you say that if Nova did the things Phibs did, more people would call him a pedophile than Phibs?
Probably, maybe,
The
maybe,
general
maybe,
population.
maybe.
And that was the point he was trying to argue.
Yeah,
But
I'm not arguing. I'm not saying it was shitty of him to argue that female predators aren't taken as seriously. I just said it was
no,
shitty to
but
attribute. I said it was shitty to attribute that to Phibs.
he was attributing himself to that point, which he was attributing to Phibs. But in the video, you said it was shitty to. Again, I understand where you're coming from, but that's just one of the comments. I didn't disagree with.
Also,
You also yelled a
also, by the
lot.
way, real quick, in regards to my chat not being great about it, there was maybe 2 messages in chat, dismissing the story or whatever. But like every audience has, I guarantee you can put a timer on for 1 minute. I guarantee you, as a black man online, I know what it's like. I can go on his video on me, and if I go sort by newest, within a minute, I'll definitely find a comment of someone calling me a slur, like a racist
Well,
slur.
comments are a big difference from live chat, and I've
It's
already watched your stream.
it's members of the audience. Like the point is that some members of the audience aren't indicative of what you genuinely believe as a creator.
No, of course, I'm not saying that has a reflection on you, but I mean I just brought it up because it's something I didn't feel great about. I wasn't trying to attribute it to you
Sure.
or say it reflects on you. So I'm sorry if I came off that way.
Okay, no, all good.
Yeah, and another thing was, especially with Puboy made a comment, and I'm just gonna preface this. I think he really didn't handle. Well, the video is all right, but I think I would have changed quite a few things. I would have reworded some things, and I wouldn't have made certain comments. He said you were a performative male, to which you responded that it's because you support women and you don't think it's gay to wash your ass.
Yes.
And then later, you said that it was because you're a feminist who like is sleazy with women or something like. I don't remember the exact verbiage. It's something graphic along those lines.
Well, I'm not
He had a
saying
very
that's what.
serious tone when he said
I
it.
think the way,
But
well, that's a lot of the time. That's what That's a lot of the time. That's what's being implied when you call someone a performative male, is that they're
but
performing
how do you
their.
know that?
Well, because that's just what the implication is a lot of the time when you call someone a performative male.
That you
Well,
think
why do you?
it's gay to wipe your ass?
No, 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 no. That bit was obviously a joke or an over exaggeration. Performative male. So like
Hyperbole. Yeah.
hyperbole, sure. Exaggeration, hyperbole, the same word, but
Yeah,
to
no,
call
sorry.
to call someone a performative male, there's an implication there that, well, there's a potential implication there that the only reason they are performing their support for feminism is to get closer to women, and that's like a sleazy thing to do. So I was bringing that up
Well,
as like a
that's
potential reason for me being called performative male, especially because he said that my audience had like romantic infatuation with me. So when you put those 2 things together, it's not an outrageous conclusion for me to come to.
no, but you said the same thing an hour later, and no, I see your point, but it's mainly just how you conducted yourself, especially with, the times you lost your cool and yelled at him saying he doesn't do basic research. Um,
Right, because he falsely accused Phibz of being a pedophile defender.
yeah, he did do that. You also said I don't, which I never outright said. I repeated what she said. She said she defended someone who was involved with child pornography,
Okay,
and I
but
said
well,
it.
it was very much implied, and it would have been very much preferred if you brought up what the actual CP was. Your video led Jidion to believe that she was genuinely defending pedophilia, so clearly you didn't do a good enough job qualifying what actually happened.
Well, I mean, I played the video. If one comes to a conclusion like that, I didn't intend for that conclusion to come, but that's kind of why you do your own research before
But
making statements.
if that's the conclusion that most people came to after watching your video, it's not an issue with most people, it's an issue with your video.
I understand how one can think that way, but again, I was just saying what she said. If someone can't do basic research, then that's not on me.
Wait, but you're the one.
mean,
But you're the one who didn't do the basic research.
okay. I did. I showed the screenshot, the video, in my video, in regards to the Naruto thing, but that was just one screenshot. How could I attribute it to an entire person, and which again she told me he did other weird things that caused her to block him.
Yeah, but
So it's not like this just
other
I
weird
know, but I'm
thing
just saying.
other weird things isn't watching C. I'm focused on the watching CSAM bit, on the being a fan of CSAM part, which was not qualified
Absolutely.
correctly in the videos.
I understand, and I see that point, and I do not, disagree with it.
Okay,
But my
look.
main point.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, no. It's like we don't need to talk. I'm happy to move on from the CSAM thing if you want.
I mean, is there anything else you did want to talk? I mean, maybe about the Lolcow niche. I know you have some thoughts about that.
Yeah, I just thing is, I think that people who focus solely on lolcows, with no indication or acknowledgement or understanding of how they get to the point that they get to, I think is very unproductive. And I think it feeds into the very culture that creates said lolcows and puts a lot of potential victims in danger.
So, would it be wrong to talk about a person's actions instead of how they did it or what it came to?
You
What
can
came
talk
to it?
you can talk about lolcows, that's totally fine, but to have no
Mhm.
sympathy for the situation that may have brought them, or empathy, I think, for the situation that may have led them to the position that they are currently in, doing the horrible things that they are doing, I think that is harmful if your entire channel is predicated upon talking about lolcows. So I mentioned Chris Chan earlier, that's a great example. Chris Chan is
Mhm.
undoubtedly a diabolical human being who sexually assaulted their own mother. But it's also very important to acknowledge the decades worth of relentless bullying, of struggles with autism, of the failure from every adult in his life from birth, essentially, that led him to that point. And I feel as though that level of empathy, that level of understanding for neurodivergent people or disabled people is unseen in a lot of these lolcow channels. Like if you click on a Nova Online video that you've made, it's very probable that 20% of it will just be calling him fat and ugly and unkept and taking the piss out of him. And I don't think that's
So,
appropriate.
so then
YouTube too.
I have a question. So like let's say um like a predator we catch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is on the spectrum, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that predator catchers also have to go with it with that through that lens?
Well, I think if someone was on the spectrum, I've watched predator catcher videos where the predator was clearly on the spectrum before, and as much as I feel sorry for said predators, it does not take away from how disgusting the action was. So as much as I feel sorry for Chris Chan because every adult failed them in their lives, obviously what they did is still worthy of jail time. I'm not going to complain
No, no,
about...
no, no. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm
Okay,
saying
okay.
is you're saying that like the local channels need to point out these different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're saying that it's essential for them to point out. I'm just saying, do you hold preg catchers to that same regard where they need to hold like point out those things? So like for me, example, do I need to point out those things?
I think it would be nice if you pointed out those things. Just because you have a large platform and it would be good to educate people on what leads predators to do what they do. Because I'm sure you agree, if we can find the root of the problem, if we can find what creates predators, that's how we stop them. That's how we stop them from becoming a thing. Prevention's always better than cure.
I you see, I mean, that's the thing, I don't think there's any because I catch a lot of guys who have told me like, oh, I was molested as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
da 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 da. And then I've caught people where, like we caught this 119-year-old dude who's in federal jail now
Mm-hmm.
and gonna be locked up by the feds.
Yeah.
He was molesting his own sister when she was 8 years old and he was like 14.
Mm.
And she had cerebral palsy and stuff like that. I think we asked him if he ever was abused or anything, and he says no. And so it's like I hear what you're saying, but I guess where I would differ is me personally is like while I'm talking to them, like yeah, I'm gonna hear where they're coming from, like this and that. But
Oh,
like a lot of these dudes, they're married, they
yeah.
have families and stuff, and it's like I let them tell their story while I'm stalling, waiting for police. But like, do I genuinely think it's important for the audience to know like oh, this dude was molested when he was a kid. That's why he's doing that. I don't think that's I don't think that's necessary at all. At
Okay,
least
okay. Well,
in the
let me.
I know it's different with the Lolcow, but that's why I wanted to make the distinction with the
No,
predator
it's fine.
catching stuff.
Well, I'll qualify. First of all, obviously, because a lot of people are going to say this, I can see it coming. I do not think any amount of trauma, any amount of disability excuses doing those fucking horrible things to kids. Like, when you do that, there's no sympathy there. Empathy's different. Understanding how they got to that situation's fine. But you won't ever catch me, like, saying that they don't deserve or jail time's not justified or whatever. Like, these are disgusting people who do need to be stopped and who are dangerous, right?
No, I definitely know you're not. Yeah.
So I'm
no.
not saying.
I know you're saying that for the audience.
I'm not
but,
saying.
yeah.
I'm not saying that you're obligated to have like a serious chat with the audience every time about how you need to consider their background or whatever. My argument is that understanding how these people get to the point where they are is one of the best ways to prevent it from happening in the future. So if people know, if people understand...
For the person or for other people?
Other people. So if more people understood that one of the reasons a lot of autistic people may act inappropriately towards minors is because they're so ostracized from communities of people their own age that a lot of them find solace in talking to young people, and a potential solution to something like that is just to be nicer and more accepting to the neurodivergent people around you. If more people took that approach, then we could prevent a lot of young people from being hurt or traumatized. I'm not saying that it excuses the neurodivergent people who happen to engage inappropriately with minors, but I'm saying that it is important to understand why they're doing so that we can prevent it from happening. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get where I'm coming from?
No, I get where you're coming from, you know.
Do you agree with me, or do you think I'm chatting shit?
I don't think you're chatting shit. I think it's definitely can help. But, you know, I get comments all the time where, like, you know, like the last video I just posted, the dude was listing off all these different things he has and stuff and all of that.
Well,
but, you know, it's just hard for me to see that point of view when, you know, he's trying to meet a 3, 5, and 12-year-old.
Yeah,
and then come to find out he has a whole bunch of CP on his stuff. And it's like,
but they're using it
you
as...
know, I have comments of people saying... I have comments with people saying, I literally have this and this that he's having. I've never once had these thoughts, you know? So it's like,
well, they're using
I
it as
get what
excuse.
you're saying. Like, what you're saying to me is more of like an ideal world, more than reality, if that makes sense.
Well, of course, but ideals are what you strive for.
Oh.
Like, I think it would be great if more people, if people understood how predators got to that point. I'm not saying feel sad for them. I'm not saying feel sympathy towards predators. And also the predators. Like,
no, I think it is important to figure out how they got to that point. No, I'm not gonna say that at all.
Yeah, that's all I'm arguing here.
Yeah.
Like, the people you're talking to are trying to use it to like excuse their actions because they're shitting themselves, and that's not something I obviously like. I don't give a fuck about those people. Like, fuck them. I'm with you. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not an excuse. They're using it to, like, excuse their actions because they think, oh, if I have some sort of victim status, maybe that will exonerate me or something. It's like their version of pleading insanity, you know? I'm not criticizing you for going as hard on those people as you are.
I guess, are you saying since with Lolcow people, it's a different medium where they're just, like, looking at it from the complete outside, where they're not on the inside like me, that they should at least point those things out one time in one of their videos? Is that kind of the point you're getting at?
It's a lot of Lolcow people are very ableist in their coverage of neurodivergent people. So they will directly make fun of aspects or parts of their character that are linked to their neurodivergence or autism or disabilities. So with Nova Online, I think it is bad to... Or Phibz, right? Phibz is an example. I think it is bad to make fun of Phibz being bad at English or being overweight or messy or unkept. The same way where I think Nova Online, to take the piss out of Nova Online's hair being greasy or him being unattractive or whatever, I don't think that's appropriate.
I mean, me personally, I don't know if there's anything wrong with Nova.
Neither do I. I'm not.
He's autistic, yeah.
This guy's made. This guy's made 36 videos on Nova, so he's got all the. It's
actually more.
Yeah. But I don't know if Nova's a pedophile. I've never said in confidence that he isn't. All I said was that I didn't call him one in my initial video.
All I'll tell you is Nova's definitely not a bad guy. That's all. He is not a bad guy. And Nova, I still want to have that conversation with you, whether it's on Discord or I have to pull up to the crib one day.
You know, I actually just called him before the stream. He picked up.
You really?
Yeah, I mean, you can go back and listen to it.
Dang, I texted him, but he ignored my text.
I think he'll come around to it. He just needs to realize, you know, you have his best interests at heart, and you just want to find the truth of everything, you know.
One day.
One day, and Nova, I know you're watching. Let's make it happen
Property of the Novine universe.
on TikTok and YouTube.
Why do you deem it appropriate to insult a lot of the people you talk about on your channel for being overweight or greasy or dirty? If they've done such horrible things, why don't you just talk about the horrible things?
I do. It's mainly what I talk about, but yeah, I throw in a cheeky joke every now and again.
Can I like show you a section, for example?
Do you want to like share your screen so I can hear it?
Yeah, sure. Here we go. Here's a random video. I'll skip to a point here. I've Control F for ugly, and no, well and behold, a portion came up. I'll share my screen.
Nice.
There you go. So I'd like to know what you think this adds to the video, if that makes sense.
It really makes me angry. It really makes me angry. I don't know why seeing this overweight 20-something-year-old internet predator's face, just like, he has such a resting ugly face. Resting B-word face is what I meant. It's like when his face is resting, he's just looking at you like with disgust, but that's just his face. He's just that ugly. He keeps his mouth open the entire time. He's getting so big that his head just looks like a big old circle. It looks like one of those comically large Parmesan wheels. That's how big his head's getting. His chin is massive. It's hanging down there like an old woman's milkers. Pardon my French. And man, it just makes me angry. I don't know why I had to mention that, but yeah, this dude knows his face just, man, it makes me mad.
Ouch.
We can stop there, to be fair. But do you see, hang on, let me change the audio again, because I had to change it to the thing real quick. Obviously, you guys couldn't hear, but he was laughing quite hard at that. Do you think that really adds to the video in any meaningful way?
I mean, it's for entertainment.
Do you understand that, you know, having greasy hair or being unkept a lot of the time is a direct result of someone's disabilities?
It can be.
So do you understand how making fun of those things could be deemed ableist? Especially because there's a lot of people with those disabilities who may be watching your videos who also might be messy or unkept because of them.
You know, I've actually gotten a lot of feedback saying that Nova, and looking at Nova and seeing how he lives, helped people improve their lives. So I think it's important to point out how he lives, so people can see the issues in it.
What's funny, Jidion?
No, I'm laughing because he's laughing. I don't know.
Okay.
Nah. I was not expecting that. Like, actually, me making fun of Nova, maybe people want to better.
Yeah, I
mean, it's true.
No,
that just cracked me up. I like the last thing I was expecting.
That's funny, dude.
Okay, look, if you think that, I guess. I don't think this conversation's really going to go anywhere, but yeah,
Sure.
thanks for. Is there anything else you want to say? I guess.
No, well, thank you for taking the time to talk to me and exchanging our opinions. You know,
I was going to
good
say
luck with,
I do appreciate you joining call and having the conversation, I suppose.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, wish you luck with everything.
Yep, you too, buddy.
All right, you have a good day.
In a bit. I am not like criticizing people who don't feel sympathy or empathy for pedophiles or anything. I'm not saying that you're like a bad person if you don't feel sorry for them. I'm just saying that you can feel empathy is understanding where people are coming from, I suppose. And I don't know. I feel like people in this chat know where I'm coming from, which is that understanding why people commit the crimes they do. Like, I don't know. If someone stabs someone, you want to ask questions. How do we stop the global gun crisis or the global knife crisis? And then you have to analyze what is causing it. Once you know the cause, you can then learn to stop the problem. So what's the cause? The cause is a lot of lonely young men become violent because of single-parent households. They're having to get into crime. They maybe sell drugs or whatever. So how do you stop that? You make a bunch of youth centers where there's like a real sense of community, right? And then they have friends. They have a healthy place to express the anger or express whatever the fuck they were doing beforehand, right? So boxing is a great way to do so. A lot of these community centers have like free sports that you can take in the UK, and that dramatically decreased gun and knife violence, at least in Glasgow, for example. Glasgow was the murder capital of Europe maybe a decade ago, and now it's the friendliest city in. It's like, I think it was deemed the friendliest city in Europe. If you do this with every other crime, pedophilia should not be any different. Learning the cause of pedophilia is how you stop it from happening in the future. And if you're unwilling or unable... Is Jidion calling me? Jidion's calling me again. All right, one sec, guys.
Oh, I was just gonna say, man, it sucks you guys couldn't find any middle ground.
Yeah, well, what I just said to chat, if you're interested at all, was with any other crime, because I feel like people are absolutely going to misinterpret what I said about finding the cause for pedophilia or whatever as me like having sympathy or defending the act or saying that like it's an excuse or whatever. But with any other crime, in Glasgow, for example, Glasgow was deemed the murder capital of Europe a decade ago because of the knife crime mainly. And the way to stop knife crime, like any other crime, is to find the cause, right? What is causing the knife crime? And reasonably, like most other crimes, it is maybe single-parent households. It's a lot of lonely young men who are very angry. So to stop that, you make a bunch of community youth centers that these young men can then go to. They can have a sense of community. They can talk to new people. They can maybe take their anger out through martial arts or boxing. And all of a sudden, knife crime decreased dramatically, and Glasgow is now the friendliest city in Europe. So these things do work. With any crime, the way you stop it from happening is by finding the cause of it. And I don't think it should be any different for pedophilia. As much as pedophilia is a very taboo and difficult subject to talk about because it is so disturbing, you still need to have enough understanding about the topic to find the cause so that you can prevent it. And I'm not saying it's your responsibility to do that as a predator catcher. You're one dude, you know what I mean? But I think globally, as a society, that is the solution. Because that's the solution to every crime, in my opinion.
Yeah. Definitely, man. I think one thing, I guess, with pedophilia is giving the victims of it really good counseling. Like, I don't know if you're religious, but me personally, I feel like if a guy does that to a kid, it's like they're pretty much putting a demon inside of them.
100%.
And then it's like, they're gonna do it to somebody else. It's almost like getting, and it's taboo to say it like this, but it's like getting bit by a zombie. Like,
yeah, you're absolutely right.
you got
that
bit
could
by
be
a zombie, so you're gonna bite somebody else. And so if you can cure the person who got bit and like, hey, like give them counseling, let them know it's not their fault, and because I feel like once the case is solved, and I think a lot of that has to do with the length these people are given. And maybe them seeing them back in the community. It could also be, the trauma from the trial and stuff where, like, you don't have to put kids on the stand to, you don't have to put kids on the stand to testify against this stuff. You can have counselors do it on their behalf,
I think that's a great point, yeah. A great way to prevent pedophilia would be better counseling for those who have gone through it. That would absolutely prevent a lot of these cases from happening because and I think
also, I don't know if you knew about this, but this dude, his name, you ever heard of Lux?
I kind of rings a bell, but not really.
So he made this thing called the Pedo Empire, where he made the biggest server for CSAM material ever. And he had this he had this website called Hurtcore,
Mm.
where it was the most extreme, brutal videos that were ever like of children being harmed. And it hosted this one video, and I highly recommend your viewers not even go to look up what the video is about. But he hosted this one video called Daisy's Destruction,
I've heard of this. Yeah, I
and
have. Yes, I have heard of that.
he was hosting videos like this, and you know, so anyway, they found hundreds of thousands of files of CP. He had the biggest database where to join Hurt to the Core, this you had to literally produce your own material. Like you couldn't just post other people's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to join on there was if they felt like you were a leech, they
Mm-hmm.
would kick you off. So it
Yeah.
was hard for government officials to infiltrate it because they would get in and then they're like, yo, this dude has not posted any content. He's just so they're like either he's a fed or he's a leech. And so they kick you out. And the only way you could stay on is if you're producing content by, harming kids, filming it, doing all these grotesque stuff. And they even had guides to get away with it and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
this dude was the reason for thousands of children being harmed. And guess how long he got in prison in the UK? I mean Australia.
I'm gonna guess 10 years.
15.
15. All right, cool. I'm used to people getting very, very much under sentenced, so my bad. I sort of
And
fucked the
the thing
hypothetical up
about
there,
it, the
but
judge before he said this is the most gruesome. But the judge for the trial, he had to look at some of the videos that this dude was hosting,
yeah.
and the judge was like, "This is the most grotesque, evil stuff I've ever seen in my life." Da 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 da. Only got 15 years. So I think another way to fix this is, we need to actually criminalize, people that possessing CP or that are hurting children,
Mm-hmm.
like these dudes max maybe they'll get 15 or 20 years, man. Where you got people caught stealing, they get more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I think child abuse should be treated the same as murder because you really are taking a child's life away, man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That child's never gonna be the same, never gonna act the same, and that child's gonna have to deal with that for the rest of their life.
As well as
Where this
their
dude,
family, as well as their family.
exactly, and then this dude gets to just get out and move on and stuff. So I think better counseling for victims. I think harder punishments for people that commit these crimes.
A lot of
I think if
better sexual education as well, if that's a good way to prevent these things from happening.
you see, I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you think sexual education would do for situations like this?
Sex ed is fucking horrible. And the way that, especially with, I think this is mainly for, to be fair, because we were so focused on neurodivergent people, I'm thinking about them specifically. But neurodivergent, like someone who's like very deep on the autism spectrum, for example, might need like a specialized sex ed, if that makes sense. Just so that they're absolutely clear on what consent is. There's no muddying of the waters, and just to make
But
sure
you know the
nothing.
thing about it, every neurodivergent person I've ever caught it, they would say something in the chat logs of, "I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get cops involved. I don't want
Mhm.
anybody to know about this." Or they would tell me that in person, like, "Are you going to get cops
Oh,
involved?"
wait. Yes.
I never had a situation where they were just like, "Oh, I didn't know this was wrong," you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. I'm not infantilizing neurodivergent people at all. Absolutely. Most of them know that it's wrong. They know what they're doing is wrong. It's fucking horrible. It's horrible what they're doing, and they know that. Like, um, but I'm just saying it could have been prevented potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, and someone in your chat, they said proper sex ed can teach kids how to stay away from the wrong people or
Absolutely,
report
that's a great
creepy
point. That's a
behavior.
great point as well. That's a great point as well.
Yeah, no, that's that. Yeah, that I think that was probably the best point I've seen
Hmm.
is because I feel like kids, sometimes they don't know how to report it. They could think it's play, and it's like, oh, that wasn't anything bad. It was
Or
just
they'll get threatened by a pedophile. They'll say like
exactly.
if you tell anyone about this, then you'll be taken away from your parents, for example, is like a very common one. but children should know not to be scared of that sort of thing.
Back to what you were saying about Skeet earlier before you were talking to Bludspeth.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad. Yes, all right, sure. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I'm just curious. So like,
Actually, wait, before that, real quick, in terms of the
Yeah, what's
Bludspeth, what did you think of the conversation? Because I thought I was disappointed with it, to be honest.
I'm not gonna get mad at him seeing her as a pedophile. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like that would be disingenuous. You know, it's like, because I can definitely, like, you know, even though I don't personally see it like that, I see where he's not putting it out there and getting maybe upset that other people aren't seeing the way you're seeing it. I think that's a whole different story. But like, I mean, I feel like maybe you and your chat could agree that, like, you know, someone seeing this stuff, if they came to their own conclusion, like, yeah, this is like low key pedophile behavior, and that was their personal conclusion. Like, I mean, do you see a problem with that?
I think as a creator, you have a responsibility not to throw around frivolous pedophile accusations. Yeah.
No, that's not what I said though. I said, like, if someone has their own belief, you know,
I think, but
like I said, besides him putting it out there,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna get mad at him for thinking what he thinks about the situation.
I don't know if mad is the right word, but I disagree with him very much.
Like, so for even just thinking that.
No, thinking it is one thing. Thinking it, I mean, you can't get mad at people for thoughts, but it's what they do with those thoughts. So if someone thinks that Phibz is a pedophile, I would disagree with them, but I wouldn't be mad at them. But if you make the claim on a 600,000 view YouTube video,
I totally agree.
That isn't researched properly, then yeah, that's like a good reason. And then also call me like a pedophile defender for disagreeing with you, then yeah, I feel like I have pretty good reason to be annoyed.
Yeah, no, definitely in that aspect. Yeah, most definitely. I guess I was saying him, but like, if any, let's say a regular person, right? If there's anybody in this chat still personally thinks that he's a pedophile,
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at that. I would just disagree with them.
Yeah. I mean, that's my belief on it. You know.
Yeah. Also, this guy Bludspeth is.
I went into the interview thinking she was gonna be a pedo, and then I came out with a different thing, and so I had already done the interview, and I was like, you know what? Let me put this out there. You know, and I feel like if you watch the interview, you kind of like see my questioning change and my mindset and my thoughts about the whole. It's like I rewatched it and I could like see myself like I could just see like my eyes differently from the beginning to the end.
Mate, you hit her with the "I don't think you're a bad guy" at the start, and then you ended it with "Hang on, I actually don't think you're a bad guy."
Yeah.
But yeah,
everyone can have an opinion, but voicing something that isn't, or you can't back up with proof to thousands of people is the problem. I do agree with that. And
yeah, that was my biggest issue, is that he's so insistent on the fact that she's attracted to minors when there is no evidence to support that at all. Would you agree with me there?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like me personally, I don't see anything that shows that she's attracted or specifically going after minors, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I agree with that.
All right.
From what I've seen, but I made sure to put out, like, you know, if something comes out in the future where it's more blatant or, you know, something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But then again, it's like, you know, I don't like, you know, my line of reasoning is where, you know, I'm very by the books, if that makes sense. You feel me? Like, where it's, if I'm thinking someone's a pedophile, it's not only that I think you're a pedophile, but like I think you should be arrested, you know?
Oh, for sure.
It's not just I think you're a pedophile, like EDP, you know. Yeah. I not only think he's a pedophile, but I think he should be arrested and in jail.
I think the fact that he's not in jail is a fucking travesty.
No, yes, exactly. And so my whole thing is where it's like, you know, when people call people pedophiles, it's like, okay, if you're gonna call them a pedophile, then you are pretty much saying that they cannot be or around children. They need to be away from us or on the sex registry.
Yep.
And it's like, if you have something to back that up,
Well, you know what?
I'm all game with being on your side, and I would never try to.
I hope you know what I mean. Jidion, you're 24, right?
25, yeah.
25. There you go. My bad. Yeah. So I mean, you know that 18's. I'm 22, and I feel like 18's like fucking. You're a child. Like you are a child. Because that's one thing he said was like 18 is fully grown woman, which is a very 18-year-old thing to say in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe physically, but definitely not mentally.
Not a chance. No way.
I don't know about you guys, but I definitely won that fucking debate.
Oh.
Dude was way too...
I don't think anyone won the debate. It just went nowhere. When it comes to like winning debates like these, where neither opinions change, I guess it's just a matter of like whose audience was more influenced. But I don't think anyone in my audience's mind was changed, and I don't think anyone in his audience's mind was changed. So unless something changes via the video, then I don't know. It was just completely pointless.
About you guys, but I definitely won that fucking debate. Dude was way too emotional. Pulled up multiple logical fallacies. You guys...
I love the logical, way too emotional logical fallacies argument. Thing is, his entire point about Phibz being a pedophile was based on emotion, though, because there was no logic behind it. There's no evidence that she's attracted to children. The only reason why he thinks that she is because he felt as though the self-harm thing was sexual, and that it indicated some sort of attraction. The only emotional person here was Bludspeth, unfortunately, because that's the only argument he had.
See the multiple times at the beginning where I just left him fucking silent for like 10 seconds. That was great. Now, and hopefully he realizes Phibz is a predator, and we'll go from there.
Hang on, but you didn't claim Phibz was a predator. You claimed that Phibz was a pedophile. Those are so different. Like I said, predator is something you can price something too high and be called a predator. Why is he backtracking after the debate ended? I feel like he's not actually confident enough to call her a pedophile unless he's on debate with me.
I do want to bet that she'll do this shit again, and if she does, dude, I already know I'm gonna be there. I hope she does. Oh, does not. I hope she does.
You were super emotional, raising your voice just a little. I was raising my voice a bit at certain points, but like, it was very annoying how unmoving and unwilling he was to listen to what I was saying.
Does not. I really don't want anyone to victimize minors, but I'm betting that she will, because she already did it once, and she's gonna do it again. But don't worry, she's autistic, so that just explains it. Oh, shit.
See, he just wasn't listening to me.
I
made it so clear that autism doesn't excuse fucking anything.
You could see Pooh Boy. Bro didn't pop up, say, I was defending you, Pooh Boy. What were we gonna do now?
He wasn't really defending Pooh Boy, to be fair. He was chatting shit about him a lot during that stream and had to admit that he falsely accused Phibz of defending pedophilia.
We can go watch some Phibz uploaded. By the way, her cameo is still up, right? God, still made $2,000. $2,000 in less than 2 weeks. Honestly, I just make a whole video on I'm in the South Park to answer you. He did. I think I did. Blight, real blight. Across because it's illegal. 18-year-old's a legal adult. Based on what age does it cross a line to him? Good point. Good point. Think of the super blight. So, at what age does it cross a line to him? You see, there's no basis upon that because it's illegal. 18-year-old's a legal adult. Think of the super only lose me toes. This guy's like a mix of Bowser and Onision. That is wild. Think of the super Tanith's finest. Bit of unintentional predation, mate. Grasping at straws on a Tuesday. I don't speak British, but I assume he made a good point. Think of the super extreme. It's a religion to escape accountability. Interesting name. She's just an adult who surrounds herself with non-peers and talks inappropriately with them. How does that make her a groomer? That's a good point. You know, plus she's autistic. Forgot to include that. Think of the super snowy done with Danky. Think of the super extreme gaming. Incredibly disappointing. He really is. That was awful display. Think of the super amber. Never forget Jidion sent money to Nova. Did he? Bro, his cortisol was through the fucking roof. The whole chat. Like, if you're a grown man and you can't have a civil discussion, maybe don't have a discussion, like, at all.
I thought it was pretty civil. I don't know. Like, it wasn't... We weren't interrupting each other too much. There wasn't really any putting words in anyone's mouth. It was civil. It just wasn't productive.
The super only lose me is just cartoons. They go the super snowy. She's 19. The other person's 14. Yeah, it's a good point. They go the super amber to 2 against 1 blood. Get someone else in there. You know, I low-key held up my own. I'm not gonna lie. They go the super amber. Bring in Pooh Boy. I definitely would have liked to. I would like to talk to him as well. Thank you for the super lightning crab. The fact she called a minor attractive, was told by them they were 14, and then said, yeah, but still shows attraction, holds after age mention. How is that even defendable? Is not pedophile. That's a really good point. Thank you for the super amber. Stanky Danky is yapping in circles. Cheers. Only lose me to toes. Defending Pred's a little hard there, buddy. Dude, the Nova stuff, if you genuinely think Nova isn't a pedophile, bro, cringe. Oh, Bludspeth called him fat and ugly. Yeah, I did. He is. So you'll get over it, dude. Thank you for the super Latravion Jarquavius. Thank you for the super Amber. Stanky Danky thinks 18 is an adult and is okay with her speaking to 14-year-olds. Oh, actually, she was 19. And yeah.
This is it. They just weren't listening to me then. Because at no point did I say I was okay with her talking to 14-year-olds. It was just so obvious that... I don't know, it just wasn't pedophilia. Just because something's not pedophilia, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's not bad, rather. I guess if you completely misinterpret and are unable to understand what I was saying, then sure, he wins the debate, for lack of a better word.
I don't know what the fence sitting. You're so confidently able to say that this woman is a danger to minors.
Yes.
But she's not... Whatever, bro.
Well, danger to minors doesn't equal pedophile. Come on now.
It's cringe. Welcome to the membership, Dragon Lily. Appreciate that. Thank you for the super Coco Bop. Okay. So overt attraction is bad. Covert is not. Did I not hear that right? Yeah, I don't know where that definition came from, but it sounds like it was twisted to fit his narrative. Thank you for the super Cobra. Brain is failing. Stupidity hurting my cortexes. Whole fucking time, bro. That was me. Thank you for the super. Only lose me toes and try to buddy troll Cyrax recently. I'm not sure about that.
Right,
Thank you for the... It really was, of course. Thank you for the super nightmare. Lads, this is a piss take. It was. What happened? Okay, thank you for the super... Latravion Jar there. The super black radberries. It's fine to emphasize with them. Blood. If you're doing... Thank you for the super black radberries. It's fine to emphasize with them, but why can't you bully them if you're doing disgusting things to children? Now, I see the point. It was really fucking lame how he pulled it up at the end to try and, like, get me. Oh, Bludspeth makes fun of people's appearances. Yeah. What does this add to a video? It's entertainment. I'm not a journalist.
I don't know about you guys, but... The specific clip I brought up, I clicked on a random video, Control F for ugly. No, lo and behold, something came up. And the section that we just bashed on Nova Online, it just, like, it'd be one thing if it was, like, a good joke or well put together, but it wasn't even funny. Like, it was really, really shit. It wasn't funny at all. It was horrific. It was just so bad.
None of us are journalists. Dude's really narcissistic and full of himself. Like, he kind of has, like, a superiority complex. He thinks he's better because he doesn't say retard or make fun of people's appearances.
By the way, guys, I don't think I'm better than any of these guys. It's just I have my content, he has his content, but I don't think that my content on my channel is, like, objectively better than Lolcow YouTubers or anything. I know what I am. I'm a commentary YouTuber. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not changing anyone's life. I'm not, no one watches me for, like, inspiration or whatever. I'm just a commentary YouTuber. Just because I don't like someone's content, it doesn't mean I see myself as, like, above them. I don't like Rotten Mango's content. I don't see myself as above her. She's a fucking YouTube genius who's infinitely more popular than me. Thank you very much for the gifted.
Cringe. It really is cringe. But yeah, there was also some drama with him. I didn't bring that up. That wouldn't have been appropriate. But thank you for the super.
It wouldn't have been appropriate because Katie and Lewis completely backed down and then deleted their apologies because they weren't actually sorry. But whatever. Hammy
Lasherman. People chose to do bad things. I don't care about your past. Exactly. Thank you for the super, Nora. You and Jidion laughing about Nova and Rage. It really did, dude. Like, he has no spine. Like, he just needs to man up and, like, get over shit. Fucking whatever, dude. I fucking decimated that fucking interview, dude. Like, it was destruction, dude.
Sorry, who's the narcissist here exactly? Who's the one with the ego problem? Jesus fucking Christ, dude. There was no destruction. It was the shit. That was the shittest debate ever. At least I'm self-aware enough to admit that was a fucking horrible debate. It meant, like, that was nothing. That was so nothing. Nothing changed. Nothing changed.
Today, Junior, it was a decimate, especially at the beginning, dude.
What happened at the beginning?
It was, like, quiet so much. I don't know, like, he really is a fence sitter. Thank you for the super excavated skull. Felt like the lion yelling at the monkey pig. It literally was. Like, how's this grown-ass adult man screaming his head off at an 18-year-old? By the way, cringe. Number one, I was low-key aura-mogging him, as well as cortisol-mogging him, because he was literally having a career-ending cortisol spike and jester maxing. It's cringe. Like, if you can't... Yeah, no, Danky's chat is a cult. They're fucking retards, like, all of them. That... Whatever, dude. That was a pathetic display. I don't think he's a bad guy. Like, I don't think Danky...
Why didn't he say any of this during the fucking debate? Like, if you're gonna say it about me behind my back, why couldn't you say it during the debate? Everything I said about how I think his content's dog shit and that, I said it to him, but, like, all of a sudden when the call ends, it's like all this riff-raff. He puffs his chest out and starts chatting shit. He was so timid during the debate. It's like, where was this? Fucking hell.
He's, like, intentionally malicious. I just think he's very narcissistic and... has a superiority complex. I think he's not going to be a Lolcow. No, come on. Thank you for the super, Andy. Will Janky have a forums page now? Wouldn't be surprised if that ever came to fruition. Not supporting harassment. Do not harass anyone. You know what? I have a lot of thoughts. I think I know who I want to, express these opinions to. Nova.
What's up?
I just finished my debate with Danky.
You have reached Nova Core territory.
Okay. That was really weird. Try that one more time. Different number. Yo, Nova. I just finished my debate. I think I look. Wow.
I'm currently not able to reach the phone right now, so.
That's crazy. Thinks he's better than me, huh? Thinks he's better than me. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. I'm just gonna pull up a
restroom. It's a toilet, brother.
A video for you guys to watch. Ooh.
That is, it was recorded. We've door. But so.
Thank you for the super foof. Danky genuinely made no points, pulled the race card, and tried to generalize all autistic people. And I saw that after joining late. No.
Pulled the race card? When did I pull the race card? What the fuck? What? When did I pull the race card?
He did not do good, in my opinion. Oh shit.
All I meant, because he brought up how my chat was making fun of, like, or saying they didn't care about Pooh Boy's abuse story or whatever. And I said, I guarantee you I can find, like, a racist slur if I see Pooh Boy's comments. As, like, a way of me saying, yeah, every audience has people who are, like, shitheads. Do you want to do that, by the way? Guys, someone put a minute timer on, and we're going to find a comment on Pooh Boy's video. I guarantee you there'll be a slur somewhere. Here we go. Let's go. Let's have a look. Let me move my face. Okay. We'll sort by newest. Hard to believe to use a content creator, anything but Roblox. Can someone tell me what he's playing? Janky fans hijack the comments. Oh! Found it! Found it! Found it! Danky Jigaboo ain't fried shit but chicken. Danky Jibba fried your ass. Danky Jigaboo ain't fried shit but chicken. So there you go. Every audience has their nutters. Jigaboo, for those who don't know, is a racial slur against black people. It is pretty much, it's like on the same level as it's like saying nigger or coon. It's a really bad slur. Yeah, I know. But just to be clear, I'm not blaming Pooh Boy for that at all. In the same way that, like, my chat, I can't be blamed for someone in my chat saying something distasteful about, like, his abuse story. Because every chat has that shit. Or every audience has that shit. Anyway, back to this.
Alright guys, bringing a friend on. Simple Saul, I don't know if you guys know him. He's a little bit better at debating than this guy. Doesn't have a low cortisol as me. Yeah.
All right, well, I think them calling Phibz a child is absurd. And as soon as you pressed on that and was like, they're a grown adult, instead of taking their statement back that they, weren't a child, they kept pushing it further. It's very clear someone that is 18, they're an adult. I wouldn't say grown adult. I feel like you're wrong on that, but still, calling them a child?
That was stupid as heck.
Calling them a child is crazy. As well as excusing behavior.
Well, obviously, legally, they're not a child, but a 19-year-old's a fucking child, I'm sorry. Anyone who's over the age of... Ask anyone who's over the age of 25 if 18 is a child. Unless they're a fucking pedophile, they'll say yes. I know I'm not 25 by any means, but, like, I consider myself a child, low-key. 18 is a child. 19 is a fucking child. Danky, I don't think you're a bad dude in any way, but I gotta ask, in your Phibz vid, you straight aloud say the screenshots of her encouraging self-harm are real, and you say she's not a danger. I'm not saying she's not a danger, I'm saying she's not a pedophile. I'm saying she is not a pedophile. Also, if this guy thinks that 18 is like is an adult, then stop talking about how I'm shouting at an 18-year-old. Like, are you a child or not? If you're an adult, then fucking deal with it, brother. Especially because I wasn't shouting. Like, Jesus, you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, oh no, 18's an adult, you're like fully grown or whatever, but then also, oh, this 22-year-old was shouting at little old 18-year-old me. It's like, fuck off. Are you a child or not, pal?
Someone who clearly has some sort of sexual attraction towards self-harm, and still having those conversations with minors after knowing them for literal days.
Dude, could you imagine what happened if they kept talking? Like, that was with all the screenshots.
Right.
I released the full DMs. That was within 3 days. Like,
I can't believe that.
I know, dude.
How do you have like this much red flags with only 3 days of talking to someone?
Exactly. Like, I don't know, dude. Some people really just need to stand on business and, like, say what
I mean, there are plenty of people that she spoke to for more than 3 days in her life, and nothing pedophilic has come out. Like, for you to assume that, like, what are you saying? He would have, like, she would have sent nudes to them, or, like, something sexual would have happened? It's like, can you imagine? I don't know. Let's not imagine, though. Let's stick to what actually fucking happened. And what actually happened was no examples of pedophilia. I need another piss. Jesus Christ. My bladder is awful today. But I am ill at the minute. I'll be right back. Sorry about this.
I think he genuinely believes she isn't a pedophile. I see the line of reasoning, but again, I really heavily disagree. It's very obvious that she's a danger to minors. Like, I said the word.
I never denied danger to minors, to be fair, though.
What do you call someone who says inappropriate things to children or to minors?
Yeah.
Someone who says inappropriate things to minors, they shouldn't be allowed. Like, you hear this shit. And how can anyone with a brain cell count of...
Well, no, but saying inappropriate things to minors does not make you a pedophile. It just doesn't. Like, if that's your definition of pedophile, then there are so many people who are dickheads, sure, but, like, that doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. It doesn't. Saying inappropriate things to minors... That does not make... That is not the definition of pedophile. The definition of pedophile, his definition of pedophile, in fact, is someone who is attracted to minors. How is saying inappropriate things to minors enough evidence to prove an attraction? Jesus fuck, dude.
67 listen to that and agree. Genuinely.
When he said that, I was like, what is...
Dude, I felt like my jaw was on the floor. Like, are we really... Did he really
This
say
guy has
that?
300,000 subscribers, by the way. Where is he getting these numbers from? I knew barely who he was before this.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't understand how difficult that is to, like, wrap your brain around. Someone who says inappropriate things to minors is inappropriate. And they shouldn't be around minors. But they're not a well, they could be a pedophile. That could be a part of you if you're like a pedophile. But that in and of itself does not make you a pedophile. That's fucking insane. That's actual insanity.
before the Phibz stuff, that's when I first like started looking at his content at least. But it's all slop. I'm gonna be honest. Like I can't really talk because my shit's slop too. But he acts like his stuff isn't.
Wait, is he debating Jidion right now?
I have never, by the way, I don't act as though my stuff isn't slop. I just make videos. I make commentary videos. I don't know why they keep projecting this idea that I think that I'm better than them and that, like, I see them as lowly Lolcow YouTubers. I don't like Lolcow content. I also don't like true crime content. That doesn't mean I see myself as, like, above true crime content.
Don't talk to my boy Jid like that, bro. Jid, that's what I call him. We're that close, by the way. We're that close.
I also think he was like willing to massively overlook other issues such as like Phibz attraction towards self-harm, but like also like harp on you for like missing context to one thing.
I know, dude. He fucking like dude's a child. Like he cannot control his emotions. If you can't get like have a civil conversation without screaming your head off, you should not be having conversations. Like you made an absolute fool of himself multiple times. I'm gonna upload the highlights on this.
I know what type of person he is. He's a like he really wants to be a debate bro, and he wants to win all debates. He's not coming into the debate with agreeing. He's not going in trying to agree on something. He's going in trying to win the debate.
Yeah, that's another point. He does not want to be proved wrong. I came in wanting the truth and trying to, preach my gospel. That's a really shitty way to put it. Trying to, show my truth or my belief of the truth. He just really wanted to win. He really wanted to get one over on Bludspeth. That's what it felt like. I felt like he was very hostile.
Look, with all due respect, Bludspeth, I don't give a fuck about you. Like, getting one over on you does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. I'm not saying that I'm like some famous fucking guy, like some celebrity, but I very easily could have just kept doing my videos and moved the fuck on. Like I wanted to talk to him. I thought, why not?
He kept raising his voice, which was like cringe. Just like I don't know if he just like can't control his emotions. He was trying to, I don't know. But again, like it was an awful display. Like he's not a debater.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, getting called a pedophile defender sort of does annoy me a little bit. But I never shouted. I might have raised my voice, but I never shouted. Like, Jesus fuck.
Not like you and me, right, Saul? Not like us.
Okay. I used to be, and then I gave it up.
Yeah, but I look, he cooked you. He's still talking about me. I don't give a fuck. Like, the fans.
Wait, you're still talking about me though.
Fuck. But the leaders lead. That's a really stupid thing to say.
I also think they were like really attached to the word innocent when that's like they're innocent of not facing legal actions, right? But like no one's claiming that they're like legally guilty.
Oh shit.
Like I doubt they would get like processed. Like I don't think they would get arrested.
No, of course not. I'm not watching Danky stream. I don't care.
Like you can be a pedophile and not get arrested for doing disgusting things towards children.
Huh?
Also, his fucking fuck-ass glasses analogy.
That was the
What
dumbest.
was that?
How do you compare glasses to cutting yourself?
It was
How?
yeah,
Yeah,
well, you used the word. It was an analogy. First of all, there's no evidence that that she sees self-harm as like sexual. She's interested in it. She romanticizes it, but there's no evidence that she gets like some sort of sexual thrill out of it. But even if she did, there's no evidence that the specific chat she had with Vance, where Vance brought their self-harm up unprompted, there's no evidence that like she saw that as sexual just because she has an interest in self-harm sexually, even if she did, which there's no evidence for. The same way that like if someone has a glasses fetish, they're like super sexually interested in glasses, and they're talking to a minor, and a minor brings up their glasses unprompted, and then the response is like, ooh, or just a bunch of O's, it doesn't make them a pedophile. It just doesn't. It doesn't make them a pedophile. I probably could have come up with a better analogy if I had time, but like, I was trying to come up with something to sort of help him understand where I was coming from.
you tell someone, well, if you have shown signs of having a kink for glasses, and then you walk up to a minor and you're like, yo, I like those glasses on you, there's something wrong with you.
Why would I watch Danky stream? What's going on? I mean, like, you guys can tell me, but I really don't want to go over there. But no, dude, he's just a fool. He was acting very foolish. Didn't want to see my point. He just said it's wrong. Gave it no nuance. Whatever. Like,
and he's harping on the fact that self-harm isn't inherently sexual, which that means nothing, because you can still sexualize things that aren't inherently sexual, like children, for example.
Exactly. And what's it called? What's it called? Fuck. There's literal proof of him saying, of Phibz saying something sexual regarding self-harm. Would it be? He literally said that it's not inherently sexual. She said she wanted to carve her name into someone and kiss the scars.
Guys, it's not predatory, but it's really inappropriate. Like, he's such a fence sitter. I
know, dude. Like,
who am I to talk about this? I get it. Like, he probably doesn't really give a shit about my opinion.
Who cares what fucking simple assault things, right?
Right. But, like, I just feel like this guy, he really just wants to win debates. He doesn't give a fuck about the outcome.
No, yeah, definitely. It comes.
I mean, he does care about the outcome that he's winning.
Wins,
that's all he cares about. But doesn't care about like an actual good outcome.
And just like, I really wish I talked to him more about like his childishness and like his lack of self-control over his emotions.
I mean, he can get back on call with me if he wants. I don't know if he's still alive. If he wants to talk about it, he can talk about it.
Right. Like, I used to debate like that. I've stopped debating like that because I realize that gets you nowhere. That gets you literally nowhere.
It's not even that. Have you watched my or have you actually watched like the response he did to Pooh Boy?
No.
Dude, there were multiple.
Is it alive?
I can send you the link, but there were. Right. He literally just like started screaming at multiple points. He gets up and walks off from his chair. He was so mad at Pooh Boy for certain opinions. Like,
I watched Pooh Boy's video. I thought it was a really good video, to be honest.
I did. I think it was a good video too. There were some things I would have done differently. I don't think Erica Kirk was necessary in the beginning.
Yeah. I feel like
I think the Roblox Call for Night gameplay is good, but again, that's like just an add-on. Like, if what he's saying is right, it's right. It doesn't matter if he's playing fucking Diddy Blocks or whatever.
Like, I feel like mentioning Roblox and stuff like that is kind of like the same thing as him mentioning that Nova is a fat ass.
Yeah, like he pulled that up at the end. It was really corny. He's like, was that supposed to be like some gotcha moment?
Right.
I timed out.
He's trying to act like morally superior. No. It's so clear he really wants to be, but
yeah,
we all know he does some fuck shit in his free time. Everyone isn't insane.
No, yes, absolutely. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. No, he does remind me of his son, but like.
Oh yeah.
He's calling me a child. Okay, well, a child just beat you in a debate, so that must be embarrassing.
A child, just like how Phibz is a child. Apparently.
Yeah, but not talking to minors about self-harm, and saying to my public group servers, want to carve me. No, that was fucking funny, dude.
Also, why the fuck did he mention how people were calling him slurs? Like,
I don't know. I think he tried to make a point.
It wasn't even remotely relevant.
How old is if y'all know chat? Because I don't know. 18 is apparently a child. So is 19. I don't know.
I'm trying to look this up. 22. That's what it says.
22? He's 20 fucking.
He's 4 years older than you, and he's acting like.
He says I'm too young to understand what he's talking about. Again, that's an ad hominem.
No, I hate when people play the fuck.
I didn't say he was too young to understand what I was talking about. Well, if you're so confident you won the debate, then why do you have to make shit up?
Stupid HR. Oh my god.
That's literally,
you don't know.
That's literally a logical fallacy. It's just another very, very blatant piece of proof that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Why does he keep using the word logical fallacy? It's so funny. It's really funny.
And he's just illogical as a debater, and I guess as a content creator too. Guys, don't fucking go to his chat, bro. I'm not trying to deal with fucking retards like making me look bad. Like, if I find out anyone else went to his chat, I'm banning you. I don't care who you are.
Everyone insinuating that Danky is a pedophile for this is like.
Yeah, and if you, I know. Fuck you. I'm banning anyone who says that. Like, so fucking.
Yeah, I found out like a few people. Check his hard drive, buddy.
Next time, just ban. Okay, next time ban them. You can't like. I'm not gonna fucking sit here because you know what he's gonna do. I'm not gonna say he will, but what he can do. Bludspeth chat calling me a pedophile. I don't know. Like.
Right, but I hate when people do that. Like when he was in the comments, like who gives a fuck? That doesn't have relation to the person who made the post.
Someone said leave Danky alone. He's clearly a child.
I only brought it up because he brought up what my chat was saying about Pooh Boy. Like, hang on, if I can't bring up if he can bring up what my chat was saying, why can't I bring up what his comments were saying? It's like, this is so simple. What the fuck? Like, what is going on here? Why is that difficult to understand?
Sorry,
go ahead. No.
I insist. You go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead.
I think they use the fact that Phibz has autism like way too much, and they disregard the fact that they have, like, right, high functioning autism doesn't equate to you being a literal vegetable. She can still understand like basic concepts like age of consent.
Yeah, clearly, and she understood that talking to minors is wrong with that one video she posted. Autism matters or whatever. Until
if you're gonna do something,
that is such a reach because just because someone is like,
sorry, I'm not good.
Okay, just because someone's fat or like greasy hair doesn't mean it's because of their autism.
And like, yeah, it could be a part of that. Maybe that's a possibility. But who cares? Like, and again, I've received more comments talking about people who've like seen how Nova is and like personally decided to make a change for themselves, as opposed to like people complaining that being ableist, which like calling that ableist is just really, really reach. It's not gonna reach just completely out of the fucking stratosphere. You're stupid, is it not?
Yeah, making fun of autistic people, for traits that very well may be a part of their autism is ableist. because it's not something that's really in their control. Of course it is in their control, but it's a lot harder for them than, you know, I guess neurotypical people. It is in their control. I don't want to spread the idea that, like, they can't control themselves, because they absolutely can. But it should be treated differently. Danky, 19 isn't a child, 18 isn't. We have to stop infantilizing adults. I disagree there. Like, if you can go to war, you're an adult. They don't act like one, that's on them and their parents. I don't know, man. If anyone in this chat is over the age of 25, then they'll understand what I mean when I say that 18 is an adult. Is a child, rather. I'm 22 years old. When I think back on what I was like at 18 years old, I think he was a fucking child.
Yeah, I think it is reach. I also think trying to like dumb down how people actually are just because they have autism is ableist in itself. Like you're acting like people with autism can't do shit on their own. Like they have to learn shit from other people and just don't. I mean, it just gets to the point like you're defending this so hard to the point where I don't know. Like I have no words for it.
Yeah, no, he is just that was something, dude.
Using autism as like the main point as why they're not guilty is never a good sign either. Like, oh my god.
That wasn't the main point. The main point was that there was no evidence, and that's what just couldn't be provided at any point.
Like he was just, I mean, he was saying it as like an explanation, but like he keeps bringing it up. What's the point of that? Like we understand she's autistic and went through quarantine, but like
I went through quarantine. Am I okay to be a pedophile now?
All right.
And that kind of just stunted him again because he's really expecting the worst from me. I can see he views me as inferior because, you know, I don't know, because I'm younger, because I make fun of Nova's looks. And he pulled up a video from when I was like either 17 or 16, so, you know, good job on that. But at the same time, he's gonna call me a child and say I don't know what I'm talking about.
Just I don't know, people like this piss me off.
I know, dude, it's fucking funny.
I'm watching at that point then. That's insane.
Dude, wow, so you were watching my stream, huh? That's...
Yeah, it's not gonna work. Yeah. I might have to pay him.
Silence. Okay. What you engaging in? You're banning them. They're still showing my hand. In the first.
Oh, is he just watching the stream now?
2 days of talking to one minor, which thankfully they cut off early. I mean, if that's what she's doing on day 2, can you imagine if that went on? I mean, it's a consistent pattern. And the good thing to note is that she did this after the first time this video was getting better. So she heard criticism and did it again.
Do you think she's attracted to minors?
Yes.
Okay. Well, for the record, her doing this again after being called out for it.
Like, how many times are you gonna get?
Zane, he's actually getting regarded now.
Ha ha ha.
There's inappropriate things in DMs with minors.
You realize inappropriate is referring to sexual, not
2 hours, so.
That's exactly what my point is.
So I don't even
Does
know.
hang on.
Look, I don't even know what to say.
Well, is your definition of pedophile someone who says inappropriate things in DMs with minors?
You realize inappropriate is referring to sexual, not just not appropriate.
Yes, even weird sexual jokes made to minors doesn't make you a pedophile.
That wasn't a joke. Did
You
you
mean
think?
what-
Did you think
she
that
said-
the
she
statements were
said-
jokes? Do you think the other
No,
statements
no.
were jokes?
I don't think the ooh statements were jokes. I think the ooh statements was her being interested in what was being said.
Interested in the self-harm where there's an already established precedent that she sexualizes.
All right, I think we're done. Still
this.
14.
Yeah,
Surrounded by
dude,
fucking
if you, I do feel a little bad. That was brutal.
I guess I was decimated so much that he almost feels bad for me, according to him. But yeah, I guess that's the end of it. What the chat saying? Yeah, I guess this is why it meant nothing. These guys are no, but the whole thing. I've wasted time as well. I should have known better. Like, this was pointless completely. I guess that's pretty much it, really. I wouldn't say I'm not sure I regret this, but it definitely wasn't what I hoped it would be, which was like, I don't know, some sort of actual dialogue. But it is what it is. What about Joe Rogan? This went on a lot longer than I thought it would, and I'm super ill right now, so I'm not sure I have the energy. But maybe tomorrow. Are you okay? I'm fine. I'm totally fine. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed, and I'll put the debate up on Shepherd Boy at some point, I'm sure. I'll catch you all in a bit. Goodbye.